Frieren, Beyond Journey's End, episodes 13 and 14, Aversion to One's Own Kind and Privilege of the Young. What kind of aversion we talking about? Let's get into it. Welcome back, you variant. So we're talking about Frieren today, and basically everything that's going on seems to be kind of some side story stuff, more or less. What it is, like we're not progressing the main destination yet. We got to get some of this other stuff out the way and make some adjustments. So that's kind of where we're going with these two episodes. Now, we see there's a man that used to be a sidekick to his friend, and it's kind of reminiscing over the fact that he used to be a sidekick to his friend. And, he had a chance to go on adventures and he declined. Whatever reason he declined, he wasn't ready yet. He didn't want to leave, whatever the case may be. And with that being said, he's telling Freer same thing, like, don't make the same make the same mistake I did and not take my hand, because he is drowning in a pit of something he walked into while out looking for herbs. So he's telling her, hey, why don't you go ahead and take my hand, help me out here, don't make the same mistake I did and not take my friend's hand. So we kind of get it, we're getting those Heiter vibes and stuff like that, as far as this guy is concerned, because he is a man of the cloth. Freaking, but he's doing whatever he can to save himself at this point. Fern ends up showing up and saving him because Freeman was thinking long and hard about it, because like he's filthy, you know, what should I do? How should I do this? Whatever. She's calculating everything. So once all that stuff is done, they end up, going on about their merry way after escorting him back to the village. And he tells them, watch out for, snakes, freaking squirrels, rabbits, whatever, all types of creatures that are out there. Just watch out for stuff. Not even like a few minutes later, Stark gets bit by a snake trying to reach for some kind of piece of fruit. And yeah, he starts bleeding from the nose. So we got to get him back. So it can't get back to the new place they're trying to go to. So they go back to the old place they just came from, which was the town that the priest was in. So they go back to the town, and the father there, the father of the church, is like, I am unable to help. This is far gone. Like, if he had been treated right away, probably been good, but his brain's gonna turn to mush and he's gonna just be leaking all types of stuff. But then he casually was like, maybe my brother can help. So calls him out, and it's the same guy that they rescued. So he's another priest, another man of the cloth. His name is Sein, and Sein is able to quickly do some magic stuff and neutralize the poison and going about his merry way like it's nothing. Like, it's second nature to him. It is that easy. And Freeman notices that the priest, you know, has a medallion that says that, he is like an outstanding priest. However, he couldn't take care of this poison. Like, to him, it was incurable. But Sign came in and was just like, yeah, no problem, got this, and went about his business. And the thing is, he knew that his brother had this ability and that he could do something about it, because he immediately was like, called for him, and they seemed like they were in no worry, no concern whatsoever. So Freeman ends up kind of talking to him a little bit, and he's like, yeah, I know who you are. Heiter told me all about you, because Heiter's the one who gave me the medallion, and he's told many stories about you. So Freeman's story has gotten around to various people, as we've seen throughout this. Like, somebody knows of, the hero's party in some capacity. Now he ends up explaining that, you know, they lost their parents when they were very young, and he took care of his brother, and he knows that his brother wants to be an adventurer and has slowly let that dwindle over time and has fallen more and more into despair and lost hope, and like he'll never conquer that dream. And that's kind of what we've seen earlier when he had his little, kind of flashback, kind of talk a sequence with Freeren. So the team ends up getting together, Frieren, Stark, and Fern, whether or not to invite him to the party, because they could use a priest on their team. And Stark says he's going to invite him regardless, goes down to the bar, tries to talk to him. Uh, Both him and Stark end up getting swindled for everything that they have by the chief of the village, apparently. And of course, Stark cries out because he's distraught. And that's when Fern and Frieren kind of come running and find him, pretty much in his underwear, and, Sign as well. So after having some more conversation and they're talking about it, it's just like, well, how do you like, we're mad at you for doing this to him, but how? Like you're just as corrupt as another priest I know, more or less. So Fern ends up going into the tavern and getting back all of their stuff at no cost. And the chief just says, "Hey, make sure you stay to enjoy the festival." Seems like he was just having a bit of fun messing with them, and that calls it that. But during this conversation, Frieren is having flashbacks to her past in the hero party, and something that Himmel told her about not to dwell on the past and kind of focus on the present. And Frieren used this decision to she used this event to make her decision to take Sein along with her. And she's like, "I'm going to take you, you're going to come with us, and that's just going to be that." Now he ends up refusing over the course of several guest days. And Freeman thought it'd be nice to give someone the push that they needed, because that's kind of what was done for her, you know and they continue to try and recruit him. He continues to refuse, and they end up going to the father, the church's brother. And I know it's gonna sound confusing, father going to brother, but they ask him, what does he like? And of course, one of the things is like, oh, he likes, besides his normal things, which is, playing games of chance, smoking and drinking in excess, is like, hey, he likes older women. So, of course, Frieren steps up. She's like, well, I'm an older woman. You can't get much older than me. And she attempts to use her seduction technique to get him, which is blowing a kiss. And it's funny because the kiss falls extremely flat. It does nothing, but it still shocks Stark and Fern, who are like, we would have been devastated by that if that were to happen. And we see in the flashback that apparently it did the same to Himmel, like it jacked Himmel up. So, this art of seduction that her master taught her, is not effective on Sein. So Frieren continues to, you know, try to urge him, and he's refusing because his friend was supposed to return 3 years. It was 3 year time frame that he was supposed to return from when they last talked. And he's like, "I'll come back and get you. If you're not ready now, you should be ready then." It's been 10 years, so you can see why he's more hopeless and more distraught, and he's kind of set upon that his brother, you know, is here, and he wants to sit and protect his brother, and that his friend is probably, dead. He probably didn't survive. And during this, um, we see that Heiter had offered a chance for the brother, the father of the church, to leave and go to the main city and take his brother with him, but he refused because he know that Sein is of this place. He loves this place, and he knows his brother is waiting for a friend. There's several factors I think that are involved, and he's very happy with his decision to not go anywhere. He doesn't regret it at all. He enjoys his life, even though it's become kind of a mundane thing. But he doesn't want the same for his brother, who is obviously different. And that's one of the reasons why Sign did not want to go, because again, his brother refused a chance to go somewhere and do something better. So he's doing the same thing, thinking that he's honoring his brother, I guess, or not abandoning his brother. And his brother comes up and slaps the mess out of him. And it's like, no, we are not the same. This may be my life, but it doesn't have to be your life, is more or less kind of what he was getting at. And it's like, you can do so many things. Like, I never regretted the choice to do what I did, but you're regretting and living in constant regret the entire time for your friend. You're constantly down on yourself. You're constantly, you know, reminiscing about, the chance to be an adventurer and never done it. He's like, go out and freaking do it. Like, go, I'll be fine. And this is the first time that his brothers ever struck him. Now, we end up kind of cutting to later on where we see Signs come back and he's apologized to his brother. And he apologized. He's the one who got slapped, but he's apologizing because, yeah, he's right. He was being kind of, I won't say selfish and stuff like that. He put his brother, in a bad spot, because his brother didn't want to feel like, I'm the one holding you back from doing what you want to do. So it was like, don't do that. Like, go do what you want to do if that's the case. And they kind of come to that understanding, and Sign agrees to travel with them and says mainly till he finds his friend, but he'll travel with them for the time being. And it all works out for them to finally get on the road and go start doing stuff. And he learns very quickly that Fern is, she about that life. She gonna talk the talk that she want to talk. Now, in the next episode, they end up flashback to a town where Himmel took Frieren shopping at one point, and it's the same city that Frieren's party arrives in. And Stark and Fern are in a heated freaking argument about stuff, and apparently Stark forgot Fern's birthday. And Sign, being an older guy, he notices this, and he doesn't get hurt feelings from stuff like this, even though Fern kind of lets off on him too. Stark ends up storming out because he doesn't know what else to say. And Frieren and Sign are both like, hey, you didn't really let him get a word in edgewise and so that like he's trying to talk and you just berated him so like that. And Sign says like I didn't know your birthday, like I'll go buy you a gift, but you should really go after him and try and make up with him. And Freeren's in agreement. Like you should definitely go after him and see what you can do because Sign being an older guy, and again, Fern's used to dealing with older guys and stuff in terms of Heiter, so they take care of. So that's all she's really known. So when now she's dealing with someone her age, she doesn't know how to respond to them, and of course Stark doesn't know how to respond because he's a young man. He's a whirlwind of emotions. He's he obviously likes Fern and stuff, but and they obviously like each other, but they don't know how to freaking talk about it. So it's kind of weird, and they don't think about it. Your kid, so that freaking it's always the freaking the little boy go hits the little girl, so that's because he likes her or whatever the case be. Stuff. No, not condoning that, but I'm just saying like those are things that we saw when we were kids. So it's kind of the same thing. Fern's always yelling at Stark and stuff, but we're getting the sense that she cares for him. She likes him. So Fern goes to find Stark and try to talk to him or whatever, and she's unable to talk to him. She ends up finding Sign and ends up talking to him. And basically he ends up telling her, hey, but you want to deal with different people. And again, you're used to dealing with men your own age, so it's a different thing. So when he's sitting there trying to buy her a gift because he found a little butterfly pouch and was like, oh, I think she has a butterfly hair clip. He asked her to pick out whatever she liked, and she didn't want to pick anything. So he ended up picking a gift for her. And he deduced that because she already had a special moment like that kind of on her mind, so that that's something that she doesn't just do, she wouldn't just do with anybody. you know and I think that referring back to when her and Stark went to go find a gift for him. So it's like she kind of holds that moment special, so she wouldn't let anybody else do that for her what she did for him, I guess, more or less. It's kind of what I'm getting from this. So he ends up giving her the butterfly pouch and urges to go make up with him. She apologized to him for all the kicking and stuff that she did with him. He's like, it's whatever. Like, just go talk to him. So Fern immediately goes to find Stark and she immediately apologizes and talks to him. And turns out he just wanted to do the same thing that she did for him. Like, Sign peeped it out freaking off rip. He's a seasoned man. He knows what's up, and he wanted to do this, but he didn't want to get her mad, and he's trying to explain, but he couldn't get a word in edgewise, and he didn't want to make her more upset. So she apologized and asked for forgiveness, and they head off to go shop. Now Frieren and Sign are up on the rooftops watching, and they're like, "All right, they finally made up and they got it, cool." And they're kind of having a moment, kind of joking back and forth, and Fern, was like she probably came to you for advice because again, you're very similar to Heiter. You're a corrupt, corrupt priest, and you're older and stuff, so you have that knowledge and wisdom and stuff of that she doesn't have, or that she's probably used to, going to for reference or advice or whatever the case may be. So that's why it's kind of like a similar situation. So they end up working out. Fern ends up getting a gift, a nice little bracelet, a nice little silver bracelet, and they going about their business and they end up catching a carriage and they're going to the next town. Now, while they're in this horse-drawn carriage, they talk with the merchant who has a bunch of different wares, and he's just kind of talking about stuff. Feel free to look at my stuff. And Frieren sees the bracelet on Fern. Is like, it's a nice bracelet. When did you get that? Stark is over there asleep. So find out the bracelet is a present from Stark, and it's got a mirrored lotus on it. And we find out that Frieren has a ring that's very similar. So she's trying to look for it. But of course, while she's trying to look for it, she lets her guard down. This big green monster kind of swoops in and grabs the carriage and is flying off with it. And basically, it's kind of do like what eagles do and just kind of dive down and throw stuff and drop it from a great height to smash it and then go pick at it. So that's what they're trying to do. And while they're trying to figure out what to do and how to get out of the situation, of course, Stark's like, "Can you just make the carriage fly?" And she's like, "Yeah, no." What humans know about magic, and they've only been flying for about 40 years, is they learned how to fly, but not necessarily the why behind the flying. So they don't understand how fully to make things fly. Like demons can do a bit more because it's their spell. This is a spell that was repurposed for humans to allow them to fly. So they can't just make the carriage fly. They can make themselves fly. They can make things maybe slow down a bit or whatever. But either way, you're probably going to jump start because Freeren's going to carry one person, Fern's going to carry the other, and Stark, you should jump. And the reason she said Stark should jump because Eisen used to jump from extreme heights with no problem and just take it on the chin. And we actually get a clip of him literally just diving off a cliff and smacking like head first into the ground and just sitting up like it's nothing. And he's also taken several poison arrows to the back. Like Eisen is not normal. Like this dude is a freaking tank. He is not normal at all. So like again, Stark is this is all the stuff that Stark's been dealing with. So last episode with taking the poison and he kind of succumbed very quickly while Eisen was able to take several poison arrows. Like it's nothing. Again, Eisen jumps off a cliff and smacks to the ground and he's good to go. Whereas Stark, yeah, it's probably gonna break every bone in his body. So they end up devising a plan where Frieren just kind of jumps into action and basically shoots the head off of the creature, and then her and Fern do their best to slow the carriage before the descent, and they minimize damage, but it still gets damaged, and everybody's okay. But the cart is in dire need of repair, so pretty much they end up spending a couple days, I guess, in the woods trying to get this cart prepared and put back together. So while they're doing this and they're trying to figure out how to get everything done, Frieren keeps sneaking off at night because she's still looking for the ring that was lost. Because again, everything in the carriage went everywhere. Now they finally banded together and got everything complete with the carriage, so they're ready to take off. So like they'll take off in the morning, but you know we're unable to find the ring. So Fern's like, "You've been sneaking off. Like, what's been going on?" It's like, all right, well, let's go look for it. We're leaving in, X amount of freaking time. We got time to still look for it and see what's going on. That's when the merchant comes up. It's like, actually, I have a spell that helps you find lost accessories. I was gonna give it to you as a thank you stuff, but when we got to town, but give it to you now. So we see Frieren is able to use the spell and find the ring, and we actually get the flashback of when the ring, which is also again a mirrored lotus, because again it's the same symbol on the ring that was on the bracelet, which made or think of it. She finds it. She has a flashback. We see that Himmel had put the ring on Frieren's finger, similar to a proposal. Like he was down on one knee, slid it on her finger while she was standing there. So, and again, because we end up seeing that Sein says like this is what it means. Like it's a mirrored lotus, which is a symbol for eternal love, and that Stark's a bit of a romantic, and they're trying to have a little conversation off to the side, but Fern can hear everything, and Fern hears that he's very glad that she likes it and she loves it, whatever. And they kind of have a little bit of a moment, but it quickly goes to you're an idiot because he's like, I didn't know what it means. I can get you something else, and she's like, how dare you? Don't ever ask that again. You got this for me. It's a perfect gift. I'm gonna wear it. That's that. So they had that little moment, and then Freeman's having her moment of trying to find the ring, and I wasn't sure if she was going to find the ring just to show it or she was going to find the ring to give it to her. But obviously, she's going to keep it because, again, she now understands what the meaning of it is, that it means eternal love, and it's a gift from Himmel. So it definitely she's trying to keep it safe. But of course, she comes to the point where she's like, "Why do you have a mirrored lotus?" and jokes start to fly. So again, solid episodes. I'm enjoying the series so far. I can't wait for season 2, and I haven't even finished season 1 yet. So definitely going to keep pumping these episodes out. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. If I haven't said it already, so I hope you enjoy your holidays, whatever you celebrate, and just be safe traveling throughout these holidays. Just period. Doesn't matter whether you're going near or far. Please be safe. Make sure you hit that little subscribe button. Appreciate each and every one of y'all as always. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Later.